Weddings-ish, 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 with Jove.
This episode is presented by Friar Tucks. For over 50 years, they've been styling life's biggest moments, from weddings to proms and more. Whether you're looking to buy or rent, Friar Tucks has the perfect suit or tuxedo for your event. Visit friartux.com to get started. Weddings-ish is presented by Lovebird, a better way for engaged couples to communicate with their wedding guests. Make an exquisite first impression and manage every touch point in one place. Share your proposal story on Lovebird for a chance to win a free honeymoon. Learn more at lovebird.com/weddingsish. Well, hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to Weddings-ish with Jove, a podcast all about love, joy, and weddings-ish with a special guest each episode. I couldn't be more excited to have in studio founder and designer of Stephanie Gottlieb Fine Jewelry, Stephanie Gottlieb. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm obsessed with your jewelry, first of all.
Thank you.
For the novices out there, what is the difference between fine jewelry and regular jewelry?
Well, fine is really defining the materials that we're using.
Okay.
So most of our jewelry is 14 karat or 18 karat gold. We're using natural diamonds only.
Got it.
Occasionally we work with platinum for bridal or engagement pieces, but it's really the materials.
The highest quality material is what
Exactly.
makes it fine.
Correct.
So you said natural only. This is such an
Yes.
interesting topic in terms of the world of diamonds. So you are not a lab-grown diamond girly.
I am not.
Okay.
I started in this industry almost 15 years ago. Lab was obviously not a
it wasn't a
conversation
thing.
at that time.
Yeah.
And I fell into this industry by accident.
Oh, really?
It wasn't where I intended to be.
Okay.
I've always had a love for luxury and accessories, and fine jewelry is absolutely where I meant to be, but it wasn't what
Where
I
you
was
thought you were
planning
gonna
on. So my first job was at a diamond wholesaler on 47th Street.
Oh, you worked in the Diamond District.
Oh yeah, the true Diamond District
It's
experience.
chaotic there.
It absolutely is.
Were
but
you
it
like in a
was
back door or like a you know what I'm saying when I say
behind
that?
the double doors?
Behind the double doors?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh my gosh. So what were you doing in the Diamond District?
So I took this job right out of college. It was meant to be a 2-month internship with a diamond wholesaler.
Okay.
Family-run business. They've been in the industry for more than 30 years. It's their, father and 3 sons.
Yep.
So very typical of the New York City Diamond District experience.
And then a girl, which I feel like is not
and then here I
super
was.
common. Yeah.
So I took this internship, was meant to stay for the summer while I was applying to all the jobs that I thought I wanted.
Which were in what field or in what area?
Mostly advertising. I had always interned at the different magazines.
Okay. So nothing connected to jewelry or diamonds?
Not really.
Okay.
Sort of parallel path, luxury and fashion.
Yeah.
But after 2 months, I was just hooked, and I loved the story of natural diamonds, the beauty behind it, the fact that it is this resource that is formed deep within the earth and takes billions of years to be unearthed. And so coming back to the lab-grown question, it's just not something I can wrap my head around.
Yeah.
It feels kind of like the easiest way I can explain it is there's apple pie that your grandma made lovingly that took her 6 hours and she, made everything herself.
And the smell is coming to my brain and the crust and the sugar on top. Yep.
And then there's the frozen one that you got at the supermarket, put into the microwave and
okay, you've converted me.
5 minutes later you had a pie.
Got it.
Yes, inherently they are made of the same material.
Yep.
Yes, to the naked eye, they look the same. And even to the trained eye, they look the same. But the story and the romance behind how they got here is so very different.
Yeah, the nostalgia. The romance, I think, is a good word.
It's just, there's so much history there. And we don't have to make this all about natural diamonds because it could be a very
whole podcast
long
just about that. No, I have a lot of other questions about your marriage, your man, your family, your business. But I was just curious about that.
Yeah, it's a hot topic. It's something we talk about a lot. I think it will quiet down. I think that, values have plummeted so much.
In the natural diamond or in the lab? Okay.
So now we're not even really looking at apples to apples. We never were, but I do think there's a lot of confusion for the consumer, which is really unfortunate.
Value once so obviously it's cheaper to get a lab-grown diamond.
Very much
right?
cheaper, yes.
But you're saying if you go to resell it or the value of it doesn't hold
there is no
or
long-term
increase.
value. There's no short-term value.
So from an investment, not even comparable.
Yeah, and investment is tricky because it's like a car. The second you drive off the lot, you've lost value, right?
Yeah.
The same thing happens with a diamond. You're never going to get back the full retail value that you paid. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
But if you look at the trend of natural diamond pricing over the last, 100 years, it is well up.
Yep.
Lab grown has plummeted, and it's only been a matter of years.
Yeah, it's only been around for a short period of time.
So, I think there's a purpose for everything.
Yep.
I think there's a customer for everything.
100%.
And I think as long as the consumer is educated,
and aware,
that's what matters.
And that's not your girly or boy.
It's just not.
They want natural grown, not
only natural diamonds.
I'm here for that. Okay, so fine jewelry. I want to hear about your love story because rumor has it you met your husband when you were very young.
Yes, it's a really
Tell me, I love a cute story.
It's a
I love
nice
a rom-com.
story.
Yes.
So my husband and I met in the 5th grade.
Wait, 5th? How old are you in 5th grade?
Like 10.
Oh my God, that's so cute. In New York or where are you?
We grew up in Westchester in Scarsdale. We went to different schools, but there was always like crossover because people played sports together. And so all the soccer boys would hang out on the weekends. And of course, I was friends with some of the soccer boys.
Of course.
We went to,
A man in short shorts also does it for me. So anyways, I digress.
So we went to a movie date. There were like 20 kids.
Okay, do you remember the movie?
It was Grease.
Oh.
It came back. We're not that old.
Got it.
But
I was like, wait, I think we're like the same age. Okay, got it.
We went to see this movie and we sat next to each other and he dumped popcorn on my head.
As a means of flirting or teasing?
Yes, as like a 10-year-old's way of flirting.
Okay.
And later found out that he, had wanted to kiss me, but
in the movie theater?
That's what he did instead.
Wait a minute, I'm dying. So
which was maybe more age appropriate anyway.
100% at that age, but he meant to kiss you, but instead he dumped popcorn on your head.
So that was the start.
And I assume it's gotten much better.
It's gotten better, however many years later. But basically, our love story continued through middle school. We didn't end up dating officially until senior year of high school.
Did he not have the galls to ask you out for that many years?
You know what? He always had a girlfriend.
There was just one of those.
Always a girl. And they were long-term relationships.
And that's a young age for long-term relationships,
he's always been that kind of guy.
Okay, he's a committer.
Yes.
Got it.
And I was always around. And eventually we found our way to each other. And we went to college apart. And he ended up transferring to be with me at Michigan.
For you? For love?
From California. So that's like true love.
Wait, he left California to go to Michigan. Michigan winters are
freeze. Absolutely.
The worst.
So that's how I knew it was real.
Wait, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like he packed up his life and his school and transferred.
He did.
I mean, at that point, this is your
he was surfing on the weekends, and now we're like freezing inside
He's
together.
like, I love you. Oh my gosh, so that's college.
Yeah.
And then you graduated the same year
we
or
graduated
shortly?
the same year.
Okay.
We moved to New York City together, got
like
dogs
in together?
yeah.
And then the proposal or the engagement?
The proposal
wasn't
good.
long after, right?
So we got engaged when I was 25.
Okay.
I had been working for a couple of years in the jewelry
in the diamond
space.
world, yeah.
And so I was always saving pictures of rings that I loved.
Kind of easy, I guess, for him.
Yes, and we shared a computer at the time. Okay. So I would just replace the image with my most recent favorite.
Like your most current ring that you love.
So there were, 3 or 4 before the one that he actually proposed with. But that was on his desktop.
Okay.
And he took that picture to my boss at the time. And, they recreated this ring. And at the time, I was on a rose gold kick.
Okay.
And it was a couple years into working, and honestly, nobody was doing rose gold. Mm-hmm. It was like everyone.
It feels like it's more trendy recently than it would have been.
So about
10 years ago.
When did I get engaged? 2012.
Oh, okay.
So at that time, it was not quite there yet. Everyone wanted yellow or platinum.
You were ahead of the curve.
I wanted something different. I got to see so many rings. I was designing things every day, and nothing felt that special.
I feel like and I don't want to discredit anyone's taste, but like a sea of sameness in some regards in weddings.
There's trends, and people hop on them.
Yes.
But also with diamonds, because they are so timeless, you usually want something classic that's going to last a lifetime, that doesn't feel too trendy. Mm-hmm. I'm the exact opposite. I wanted something that felt of the moment, very different, that that would essentially set myself apart from all of the rings I was making for other people. And so he ended up waking me up early the morning that we were supposed to go to LA.
Okay.
LA still holds a special place in our hearts because of his time there.
Sure.
And so we would visit every year.
I was going to say, did you visit him when he was in school?
I used to visit all the time.
So
it was the best.
Got it, yeah.
And so he woke me up early, and anyone who knows me knows I am not a morning person at
neither.
all.
Same.
So like,
wait, what time do you wake up?
Me up early. Well, now I have kids, so now I'm up
changed.
at 6.
But before that,
before it was like an 8:30 girl.
Yeah, and like, don't talk to me till I have coffee or a shower? Like,
I don't drink coffee.
You don't drink coffee?
No caffeine.
At all?
Fun fact.
No Diet Coke, no green tea, no coffee?
None of it.
You just don't like it, or it's a...
I used to be a coffee girl, then I was a green tea girl, and then I got pregnant and I just never went back to it.
Okay, now you don't, your body's like, we don't need it. Your kids are your caffeine.
If I have it, I am bouncing for days, so it's just
and you already have so
not
much
to.
energy, so you're good.
I try.
Okay, so you were not a morning person.
Not
he
a morning
woke you
person.
up early, so strike one.
He woke me up early, and I refused to open my eyes. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's 7. I don't need to be up yet.
Yeah, like, why are we here?
And then I cracked an eye open and saw a red box, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll get
This
up.
is fine. I'll wake up early for a box.
Yes. So he had a Cartier box, and inside was a love bracelet. And since I was 21, that was kind of my big special gift. My parents bought me my first one, and then Brett, my husband, bought me one for, I don't know, some anniversary. And he knew that I'm a matchy-matchy girl, so he knew that if I was getting a rose gold engagement ring, I would want another piece of jewelry. That was rose gold. So he had a love bracelet, and inside it was engraved BG Heart SG April 26, 2012.
Oh.
And so I read that, and I'm like, what's April 26?
Yeah, why that date?
And he got down on his knee and said, it's the day I asked you to marry me.
That morning?
Yes.
Like you had just rolled out of bed?
Yes.
Wow, that's a bold move.
Yeah, so there I was. I got my love bracelet. I got the matching ring.
Your hair's all messy. You're just waking up.
Total mess. It's on a digital camera recorded somewhere that we can't find.
That's amazing.
But yeah, that's how he proposed.
So you were totally shocked in that moment.
I had no idea. I was so young. I was the first of my friends to get engaged. And we hadn't really talked about it very much.
You just assumed you'd be together because
we were living together. We had 2 dogs together.
Yeah, your whole life.
And there, we had open conversations about oh, I love this ring, and oh, this, that, and the other thing, but never about a timeline or
when it was going to happen. You just sort of were.
Exactly.
I love that. Weddings-ish is presented by Lovebird. Recently engaged? Share your proposal story on lovebird.com, where engaged couples can manage every communication with their wedding guests with elegance, grace, and ease. Lovebird will select couples with the best proposal stories for a chance to win a free honeymoon. Bonus, featured couples will also unlock free access to lovebird.com, where they can create a premium wedding website, send elegant digital stationery, collect RSVPs, share day of announcements, and make an exquisite first impression for their wedding day. Terms and conditions apply. Lovebird, elegant wedding guest communication, simplified. Share your proposal story at lovebird.com/weddingsish. That's lovebird.com/weddingsish.
Yeah.
So then, in terms of ring design, I feel like a lot of people out there, you had this great method where you could leave a breadcrumb. I wouldn't even call it a breadcrumb. You left the ring on the desktop.
I made it very easy.
You made it very easy. And some people, the new thing is talking into your partner's phone.
So they get
3-carat
ads.
baguette diamonds. So they get served ads.
That.
And then they're like, oh, but I'm curious
that definitely started with some meme, I'm
sure. Doesn't everything good start from a meme?
Totally.
Someone in their basement making memes?
I love that.
But what is your recommendation for people who are wanting to buy a ring to propose of that magnitude?
Right.
Are you seeing it's now both parties are involved as before it was one person doing it for the other? Or how is that happening now?
So I think, when I started, now it's 12 years ago almost, this was sort of the beginning of jewelry being more accessible to the audience.
Okay.
There was more transparency around diamonds and more education, and that was really a huge pillar of, how I built my account on social media, was educating the consumer so that
being honest about price. And
breaking
time.
it down for them, because everyone in New York has a diamond guy and
sure
nobody
do.
knows anything about diamonds. They're just trusting this 80-year-old man to tell them what to buy.
And who's going to give them a deal, the best price.
They just want a deal. But like, first of all, that is so unappealing to me. I mean, having worked on 47th Street, it is the one street I like to avoid at all costs.
I was going to say, are you not there anymore?
So the whole experience I thought was so underwhelming, especially when you're spending so much money.
That kind of money, sure.
So bringing transparency, educating the customer was really important to me, and that's very much what I did with social. So I think now that women have access to all of that, they see what they like, they know what they don't like, and it's much easier for them to make those decisions versus before you had to visit a Tiffany's or a, you know, and that's kind of overwhelming for people.
For sure. And the optionality.
If you're not serious about buying, you feel kind of weird doing it. So I think there's more options. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it's become easier to say, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Because the dialogue is open.
Yes, because it's a contemporary couple. So it's not like it's not like arranged marriage kind of world.
Correct.
I mean, that still exists for sure.
It does.
But like, they've lived together. They're having the conversations.
Right. So from the beginning, I always kind of had the woman involved.
Got it.
She
so
always
she
wanted
knows.
to come and try things on and see what looked good on her hand and decide if she wanted rose gold or yellow gold. And I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah, 100%. It's something you wear for a very, very long time.
And there's still an element of surprise. I'm not saying she needs to know when he's proposing and how he's doing it.
Correct.
And, you know, there's still that opportunity to make this a special surprise moment. I mean, my sister just got engaged last
congrats.
week or 2 weeks ago.
How exciting.
And he had the ring for a couple of months.
Okay, but obviously with you as a sister, like...
So, okay, they picked out the stone together. She knew it was coming, but he still surprised her. She had no idea. So I think there's a way to do it that, you know, it doesn't have to feel like she's kind of taken over the process.
Yeah,
there's
or she's
a way to be
missing
involved.
out on that special moment.
Yeah.
Got it. So you're seeing a much more hands-on approach now than even in the last 5 years or 10 years?
Yes, but I think from the beginning, because I was the one speaking to her, she wanted to be involved. And she was the one saying, we're going to see Stephanie.
Yeah.
So like she kind of kickstarted the conversation, which I love.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, ultimately she should be happy.
I agree.
It's on her finger for a long, long time.
Yes.
So what is your design process in terms of you have collections or is it all custom? Someone comes to you with the wildest dream and you know, do you sketch and then you like
all of
tell
the above?
me all about your process.
So we have a multifaceted business. Pun intended.
Yeah.
We have a fashion finished collection.
Yep.
So, you know, we design 2 collections a year. Finished jewelry that ranges anywhere from $500 up to $50,000 essentially. And people will click and buy those online or come visit our showroom in New York City.
Which is not in the Diamond District.
It's removed from the Diamond District.
Adjacent.
Yes. I mean, so much of what we do every day involves the back and forth with our jewelers and the materials. So being right there makes it a lot easier. And I one day hope to have retail that's nowhere near the Diamond District. But for now, we're 2 blocks away.
For now, it's working. Yeah.
So that's one piece of the business. The other is bridal, where, you know, we have a collection of bridal that usually inspires the design. So, you know, they see a ring, they love it, but they want X, Y, and Z to be different.
To it. Got it.
And I've always been of the mindset that like every piece of jewelry can be custom. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So, you know, the customer can really get involved in the process, which is fun.
Yeah.
And then we also have custom bespoke, you know, you come up with your wildest dream and we'll make it happen.
I love that.
I think the most recent example is my martini ring, which has become a thing.
I shared it today because I'm obsessed with it.
It's
the
so
3
good.
olives.
Yeah.
It is so. Where did that even come from?
So
your love of martinis?
Yes, basically. I had
Gin
a
or
birthday
vodka?
party vodka.
Okay.
Yes.
Dirty or dry?
Extra dirty dry.
Extra dirty dry. Okay, so where did this ring come? It's like literally, and we're going to have to put it in here, it's 3 olives.
It's 3 olives made of peridot with a little garnet pimento in there.
Yes, it's phenomenal.
I like my jewelry to reflect the things that matter to me. Maybe that's, you know,
I love this.
Controversial.
Yes.
But your jewelry should tell your story in some
100%.
way. And I am a little kitschy and a little playful, and the jewelry reflects that.
Yeah.
And so I had a birthday party this year it was martini themed, and I wanted my birthday present this year to be a martini ring. And so we concepted this. And of course, my jeweler broke a stone the day before my party, so it wasn't finished.
Like a keystone, like one of the...
Yeah, one of the peridot. So we had to go back, get a new stone, redo the setting. It was a whole thing. It ended up coming after my birthday. But for me, jewelry is this kind of tactile reminder of a moment or a time or a person, a place.
Yeah.
And so that ring will always remind me of this time
birthday,
in my life.
100%.
That night. And, you know, it's very much like your engagement ring. It takes you back to how he proposed and what your relationship was like at
how
that
you
time.
felt in that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, where you were in the world at that moment in time.
Yeah. And so we really do take the wildest dreams and bring them
and make them
a reality.
And what's your timeline? So if I'm proposing, I'm not, I already did that, and I wanted a custom ring from you, what is a normal timeline, a tight timeline, and maybe an impossible timeline?
We are magicians.
Okay.
We make things happen.
So nothing is impople.
Nothing is impossible.
With time and money, or just money.
Unless there's a Jewish holiday, then it's probably impossible.
And sometimes there are many in a row.
October, don't ask.
Don't even do it. That is actually a key piece of information.
Yes,
like
keep
that is
that in
not
mind,
a time to
guys.
get a rush.
It's true.
Got it. Because they're out of office.
Right. But essentially the process is 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
And it depends how ready you are. We have a lot of clients who come in, they'll look at stones, and we do like the full 4 C's education. So they get to understand where the value is and what they want to spend their money on, if size is more important or quality or somewhere in between.
The 4 C's, let me see if I remember. Cut, clarity, carat,
and color.
Color.
Yes.
Oh, I was so close.
Yes.
Okay. Those are the 4 C's.
Yeah. And so it's easier to talk those things through when you have stones in front of you.
Sure. So you pick the stone first or the
Yes.
design first?
Well, usually they come with some semblance of
some inspiration.
idea that they know,
Sure.
you know, they want a 3 stone or they want a solitaire or whatever that looks like.
Yep.
But we start with the stone because that really dictates everything else about the design.
Sure.
We'll, talk through what matters most to them and then hone in on a range that they want to see next. So the first is really just introduction.
Yep.
The second meeting is usually pick a stone, and then 2 to 3 weeks later we have a ring.
Wow.
But all of this can be done on an expedited timeline.
Sure.
And also we do have in-stock rings
that you
that can be
choose from.
resized and used the next day.
Wow. I mean, so really that's amazing in New York City that you can kind of turn it around so quickly.
The bridal process, we have very heavy hands on.
Yeah.
Our jeweler is someone I've been working with now for over 5 years. And I'm always keeping new talent in mind because you never want to have all your eggs in one basket.
Correct.
But
you don't want to be stale.
He's like family. He loves my team. And he will literally get on a call at any time of day to make something happen for us.
And
so
that's what you
important.
want. Like in this business, I think people don't realize, but it's a relationship business.
100%.
And like who you know in the industry and what they will do for you and how much they care for you and your clients. Like, that makes or breaks the whole thing.
And I was really lucky in that way. I think because I built a social media presence early for our industry specifically. I mean, I started in 2013 doing this.
Were you just when was Instagram?
Like 2012,
It was like around that
2013.
time, right? It was 2012.
Very early.
And then you started and it was for work or for fun or for both?
A little bit of both. I had just started my business, so I was showing, the projects I was working on and the trade shows I was going to. It was just a glimpse into my life at that point. Yeah. And then slowly, strangers started following me and friends of friends from other cities. And it just became a different word of mouth ball game.
And now your social media, it's your whole life plus your work. It's not just your business. It's like
the lifestyle
your kids, your
became
dogs.
intertwined with the business.
Got it.
I mean, it's a namesake business, right? My name is on the door.
Yep.
And people like the fashion and they like the travel and seeing my kids. And I've had people with me for the last 11 years who have watched, my life before kids and have seen my kids grow up. And so I would say there's probably 100 to 200 people who I'm DMing with regularly, who I know their handle and, have built some relationship with.
But have never met them in person.
Have never met them in person.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you do all your social media yourself?
Not myself.
Okay.
I definitely have help.
Okay, good.
But for the first 6 years, I did everything myself.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because your whole world, you're just out there for everyone to see. But it's aspirational. It's inspirational. It's
fun.
exciting.
I feel like there's the personal element of it is really what drew so many people to the brand in the first place. And so to give up on that, I think would lose so much of the essence of the business.
And the value of what it is. Like literally your name is on the door. They're meeting you to design something super special.
Yes, but I will say we're definitely transitioning to the brand beyond the name and the face and, starting to incorporate new models and new faces so that a wider audience can see themselves in the jewelry.
Yeah, not just yourself.
Not just me.
I mean, you're gorgeous, but not everyone is a Stephanie.
No, that is true.
So you got engaged in 2012, April. Now I'm remembering the date. It's like going to be burned in my brain, your engagement. And then what happened next in terms of wedding planning? Like, were you the girl that had always dreamed of a wedding or the opposite?
No, I was not that girl at all.
Okay.
And in fact, had only been to 2 weddings in my life before my own.
Before you got, okay.
So I didn't really know what to expect.
Okay, so where did you start?
I knew I wanted destination because I just wanted an experience. I wanted all of my friends and family in one place. I wanted it to be about more than just the one day.
Yep.
So we chose Mexico.
Okay. Which is the best.
It was amazing.
And direct flight from New York?
Yeah, you fly to Cancun.
Oh, easy.
I also have a lot of family in Miami, so it was very easy.
Yep.
And it was just the best weekend ever. And Brett and I grew up together, so we had all the same friends.
Oh my gosh, you didn't have
and
to fight over the guest list. Like everyone was coming.
And our parents knew each other and all their friends knew each other.
Yep.
It was our lives were so intertwined and it was just such a cool experience for everybody.
From the guest list side, did any of his ex-girlfriends get invited?
No.
Okay, good. I had to ask. The people want to know. We were wondering.
They did not.
I think that's the right answer. So Mexico for a full weekend.
Yes.
And what was your favorite part of wedding planning?
I actually
were you very hands-on?
I hated wedding planning.
Wait,
I just wanted to check things off the list.
Really? You didn't enjoy the process?
No.
Okay.
Too many decisions overwhelm me.
But you're a business owner. You make a million decisions a day.
It's terrible. I hate making decisions.
Okay. Got it. But for your work, it's one thing. But for yourself, it felt...
It's tough.
Okay.
I mean, designing a house was another thing that just totally overwhelmed me.
Took it out of you.
I hated it.
Do you find designing for other people, though, you can just do it
so much easier
in a second?
Yes.
But when it comes to you...
it's hard to identify what you like, what you want, and what that looks like.
For you.
Yes.
Where you can help other people do that.
Other people, tell me what you're thinking and I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about it. But I think it was also not having been and seen what a wedding was.
Yeah.
Or could be, and there wasn't
Pinterest at that time.
No, there wasn't
a lot
Instagram,
of blogs.
and
it was newer.
I wasn't being fed content all day about weddings.
There wasn't inspiration left, right, and center for you to pick through.
So thank God, to be honest, because I think I would be a crazy bridezilla.
Been in the corner.
Yes, I mean my hashtag was SGBG wedding.
Oh my gosh,
there was no such thing
wedding
as
hashtags. Yeah, it's coming. I feel like it had a big moment and it died,
back?
and I feel like it's like sneaky coming back.
Okay, but they're more creative than just the initials of the
No,
couple.
I mean, but that's like the best because those super creative hashtags, I'm like, how do you want me to remember this 72 character hashtag? Like, I'm definitely not.
And am I spelling it right?
Yeah, and I'm like a little dyslexic, so it's like not going to be right. And then your hash. Anyways, okay, so Mexico,
I would say that the outfitting was my favorite part.
How many looks?
Well, there were.
You had a Friday night, a Saturday, and a Sunday?
Night. We started Wednesday.
Wednesday? Did you have an event Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
So Wednesday was like an intimate dinner just for the bridal party.
Okay.
So I don't even know what that outfit was.
Sure.
I can't remember that.
But you had one for that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Thursday was our welcome dinner.
Okay. So 1 or 2 for that.
I had one for that.
Okay.
It was this like LeMay animal print.
Oh, she went full Mexico jungle.
It was a jungle theme.
Do you still love that decision or are you regretting it a little bit?
I kind of loved it.
Good.
I will say my biggest regret, not the biggest, but one of them was I didn't bring a hair stylist with me.
You did it all your own hair?
No, I trusted local talent.
Yes.
And it just wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I didn't at the time know how to express what I wanted.
And you didn't have a trial before, right?
I did. We went
so you
down
went
a couple
for like
of
the
times.
tasting and the sample
but
and the
like
trial.
Beachy waves turned into like crimpy. In this LeMay dress. And so it was a lot.
I can't wait to, will you send me a photo? I need a visual of this.
It looks good.
Okay,
but
great.
It wouldn't have been my first choice.
Got it. Looking back, you're sort of like,
yes.
Shouldn't have skimped on that.
That was one night.
Okay.
The other night, I did a white jumpsuit with these silver bows in the back that I actually loved.
Bows in 2012?
Yes.
Way ahead of the curve.
And I did a bun and they made my hair into a bow.
Stop. Wait, you had a bow hair?
Bow hair.
Like full on, like back with a bow.
It was actually pretty good.
I need that photo also. So I have 2 photo requests from
find
you.
it, yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They added obviously
like I
fake
said,
hair,
I'm
right?
a matchy girl.
Yes.
So if the back had bows and
you
I
commit
continued
to it
up.
and you go all the way up. I need to see this because bows are now everywhere. But in 2012,
I'm a bow girl.
You've always been.
I've always loved bows.
Okay, so that's Friday night, the white jumpsuit. So now we're up to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 outfits.
The wedding, I did like the big ball gown with the bejeweled belt.
Who was
very
who did your
2013. Dress? Alita Graham.
Okay.
I shopped at Kleinfeld.
Okay.
I literally did 1 day of bridal gown shopping.
At all the different stops.
And that was it. I think I went to Saks, Kleinfeld, and maybe one other, and I was just done.
Who did you bring with you?
My mom and my sister.
Okay. Were they helpful or annoying?
Everyone
means
remember.
well. Oh, well, that's good. Then probably not as annoying as they
they probably were annoying.
It's family. That's how it goes.
Again, like making those high pressure decisions is just challenging.
Yeah, you just wanted to check it off the box.
Yeah.
I see that.
And I think I'm confident in my style.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to like the dress, there's so much
pressure of what that is.
So funny enough, I bought the dress. I definitely had regrets, but you know what? When I had been pulling out pictures from magazines, because that's
what
how
you
we
did back
looked
then.
for inspo.
Yes, literally ripped the pages.
Yep. I had pulled that dress more than once.
Okay.
So
you
it
kept
felt
coming
like I was
back.
consistently going for that look, and I loved it, and it felt good, and so we did it.
Yeah, it spoke to you.
And then we went to visit Mexico. As our one of our final,
like the tasting or
walkthroughs.
site visit.
And there was a hurricane.
No.
So we had to leave to get out in time.
What month were you married there?
We got married in January. This was September, October.
Yeah.
So we made it. We got to Miami. That was the only flight we could get. So we landed in Miami. It was raining there, so we went shopping for the day because what else were we going to do
in Miami? You're not going to go to the beach.
And I'm walking by Oscar de la Renta, and this dress is in the window.
No.
And I stopped dead in my tracks, and I was like, that's my wedding dress.
I need the dress.
And of course, my mom got on board, and I was able to convince them that I needed the two.
You had the hurricane going on, so you sort of had a little bit of like...
It was kismet. I landed in Miami, wasn't supposed to be there. This dress is in the window. They
literally
had one
staring
left
at you.
in my size.
No.
And it was actually the dress that I think Carrie Underwood wore it to some red carpet.
Okay.
It was this gray and pink dress.
So not white.
It was like grayish purple, and purple's always been my color.
Got it.
I don't know, it felt so me.
Yeah.
So I wore the white dress down the aisle, and then I changed into this
the Oscar
gown, and it
for the
was
reception.
that was the perfect dress.
Got it.
And I still love that one.
And what was the third one?
The third was this, oh my God.
Like an after party or dance dress?
So the third was for the after party, which was barely an after party because we partied late.
Yeah, you were tired.
And my friends were just done. We'd been doing this since Wednesday.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot of days for a destination wedding.
I would have added in a rest night had I known.
Margaritas, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
What's your favorite kind of margarita?
I like a classic
She's
margarita,
a classic girl.
skinny marg, but they had this thing called Coco Locos at the hotel. The hotel ran out of coconuts. That's how many Coco Locos the guests drank. The whole bill was just Coco Locos.
I'm dead. You're like, that is the happiest part of the bill.
Totally.
Not the number, but the number of Coco Locos.
Ran out of coconuts.
I'm obsessed with that. Okay, so the third dress, the Coco Loco dress.
The third dress was just because I had it. It was this short. This is so embarrassing, but when we did the bridesmaid dress shopping, my bridesmaids were my best friends, but they kind of drove me nuts.
Yeah.
And they
but this is the thing.
None of them agreed on anything. And this was before it was cool to just let everybody pick their own dress.
Yeah.
I thought everyone has to be in the same dress.
You were in charge.
So I took them to, I think Kleinfeld. No, I don't even remember. I took them to try on these dresses, and they all hated it. A lot of them were busty, and this wasn't a dress for a busty
the right cut
girl.
for them. Sure.
And I loved it. So I bought it for myself.
And they also wore it, or they didn't
wear it. And I wore it for the after party in white.
I'm dead. I'm actually glad the day is gone where the the bride or the groom has to pick the fashion for their wedding party.
We had matching ties. It was horrible.
It's a thing when
That is my greatest regret is the bridesmaid dresses and the ties. Like, what?
Bad.
They were purple. It was awful.
I was a groomsman in a wedding, my best friend's wedding, and I remember going to the store and I was like, that? Yeah. And I had no say. And I was in like a teal green. Oversized tuxedo with the cummerbund. And
Say less.
It was so mortifying, but you just have to do it.
I know.
Like I just was like, that's what she picked.
Right. And even the color, like who cares?
Right. I was like, what are we doing here? Like,
and how many times have I looked at those wedding pictures with everybody in
correct.
them?
I'm
like
sure
less
not
than 5.
so many. Yeah. Like it's really not. So looking back, you would have released some of that.
For sure.
Yeah, to make life
and
a little bit.
And less pressure.
Yeah, on everyone.
Pick whatever you want.
It's
be
like
happy,
not
be comfortable.
fun to be going through that. And so you had a big wedding party.
Yeah, we were pretty big. I think I had like 8 girls.
Wow. And then did he match?
He did.
So you had that typical his, hers, matchy-matchy.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, wedding party, I'm planning my own wedding at the moment.
Exciting.
And it's very exciting. Also,
when is your wedding?
Nerve-wracking. Next summer.
Okay.
This summer? Next summer? June 25th.
This coming summer.
This coming summer.
Yeah.
And we decided no wedding party. But I feel like I like the idea of it, but I feel like you always end up taking care of them.
Yeah. It's a lot of pressure.
Like they're there to
it's just more
help you and take care of you, but like you end up taking care of them.
Right. It's more to think about.
Yeah. It's more work for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We're seeing like the trend is smaller parties, but we did a wedding a couple months ago and there were 36 people.
That's something.
I was like, where do they go?
How many people
I don't
were
have
at
a
the
room
wedding?
for this. 150.
So they were half the
The
wedding.
math like didn't math.
Right.
And I was like 36.
That's a lot.
And they're like, we could have gone higher. I'm like, no, this isn't a competition.
And
like,
did
we
they
don't
all
need-
wear pink?
No. Like luckily they got to like do what they wanted to do, but it was just so many bodies to manage that didn't want to be managed. You know what I mean?
That's nice if you love that many people so dearly
I
that you
guess
have
so.
to include
That they
them in your
must
bridal party.
be in your getting ready room with you.
Yes.
So was jewelry a key part of your wedding? Like did each look
It was.
have jewelry?
Yes, it did, but it not as much as it would have now.
Sure. Because that was the genesis. You had just started the company?
I didn't leave until after the wedding. So I was still working for somebody else.
Got it.
I had designed a handful, mostly statement earrings. I was very into big earrings at that time. And I had found these earrings at a trade show that I was obsessed with, had to have, thought about them for months and kept going back to the same company.
So you have to buy them.
So those I wore with my lame leopard print.
That will be in the photo you are going to send me.
They actually worked really nicely.
I'm sure.
And then last minute, like 3 weeks out, I made wedding day earrings.
Got it.
And
For
I borrowed
yourself.
a bracelet.
You're like, I just need them.
Yes. I borrowed some jewelry. It definitely was not as big a component as it would be now. I mean, now I'm planning jewelry for my birthday.
I'm
I
sure.
mean, everything.
I mean, absolutely.
It's
It's your whole world.
Yeah.
Planning a big event, whether it's your wedding day, prom, or another unforgettable milestone, Friar Tuck's has been styling people for life's most important moments for over 50 years. With their newly revamped website, you can buy or rent a sleek suit or timeless tuxedo. Plus, they've just launched a fresh women's suit line and new styles in trending colors. And don't miss out on the Michael Kors Performance Collection, designed to keep you looking sharp and feeling comfortable. Friar Tuck's is a family-owned business, and with over 10,000 five-star reviews, they're proud to be a part of your most important moments. Ready to style your next event? Visit friartux.com to build your head-to-toe look or schedule a virtual appointment with an expert stylist. Plus, you can also stop by one of their stores in Southern California or Las Vegas, Nevada. Whether you're renting or buying, Friar Tuck's has the perfect fit for everyone, from standard to big and tall sizes. Friar Tuck's, styling life's most important moments. Check them out today at friartux.com. You got married, and then what was the time or the decision for you to launch your own company after that? Like, did it come from the wedding? Was it brewing quietly in the background?
So I got married in January. I left my job in July.
So we're also at like a 10-year wedding anniversary for you, right?
Yeah, we celebrated already.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I know, we made
decade.
it.
It's not a small feat.
I mean, we've been together since we're 17.
I'm going to
so
say,
I think that's
so like,
the feat.
that's the feat. Yeah, like over 20 years.
Over half our life.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I don't know. I think when I left, I was feeling a little undervalued. I was working really hard. I'm the type of person that when I do something, I do it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was emailing China because that's where a lot of our factories were at midnight and staying up at all hours to check email. And I just felt like if I'm working this hard
for someone else,
I should do it the way I want to do it. And I did give them the opportunity to reward me more handsomely. And
wait, I love that phrase.
Didn't.
Can you give me that phrase one more time? You gave them the opportunity.
I did. I knew they didn't want to lose me.
Sure.
And to this day, I still work with them. They're like family and I love and adore them and have only the nicest things to say.
Sure. But
I
you
knew they
outgrew
didn't
them.
want me to leave.
Yeah.
So I gave them a chance and they didn't take it.
They politely declined.
Frankly, I probably make them more money now than I did then.
I'm
so I
sure.
think it all worked out.
It all worked out for everybody.
But in the beginning, I didn't really know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I wanted this to just be a by appointment, like word of mouth business, which it was for a very short period of time. And then I started social media, and then the following started coming, and word of mouth just turned into a totally different
full business.
thing.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really just a matter of like prioritizing myself.
Sure. And your own happiness.
And I was also kind of itching to be more creative, and we were catering to an audience that wasn't
A little more classic.
anything like me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you listened to your own voice, which knew you needed something more.
Yeah.
And you took a leap of faith.
I did.
I mean, it's big to say this is a career with a salary and benefits and stability, and I'm going to walk away from that and launch into the unknown.
Correct.
But here we are a decade later, and you're making martini rings for yourself. So like obviously the leap of faith paid off.
Yeah.
I love that so much. So after you got married, you started the business. You've always had dogs together? Did you come into the relationship each with a dog?
No, we bought our first dog. We bought our first dog on 4/20, like 2021, I think.
What's his name? Her name?
Or no, sorry, 20. What year did I graduate? I'm missing a couple decades. Like
that's fine.
It was 2011, I think.
Not 2020.
Kiwi. Kiwi is our first dog.
Okay.
We were walking by a pet store that still existed then, and we just felt so sad for her, and she was so
Was
cute.
it a rescue or like in like
It was in a pet store.
Got it. You saw her in the window.
Pets on Lex, and we were going to the park for like an afternoon with friends, and ended up
And you
stopping.
showed up with a dog.
We stopped there on our way home and brought her home with us.
Oh my gosh, that was number one.
That was number one. Number two, I was away on a business trip, and my husband got the dog without me.
Wait.
And he called me.
What?
And he was like, I got a dog. And I was like, you're joking. Return the dog. I was furious.
Wait, there was no prior conversation about I want another dog?
Not really, no.
And he just said, I bought the dog.
Yes.
No FaceTime, no, do you like this dog? Is it the same breed, a different breed?
Same breed.
Okay, so you knew you had a type.
Yes.
He literally just did it.
He brought the dog home.
my God.
And I think for like a couple days, I couldn't even look at our dog. I was just like so mad.
Of course.
But then, of course, he was adorable, and I warmed up to him, and he happens to be the easiest, best dog ever.
Are they opposites? Kiwi and what was the second one?
Kiwi's a nut job. Kobe is like chill.
Also with a K?
Like so cool, yeah.
So we're doing the Kardashian thing
We
here?
were,
Okay,
yes.
so Kobe and Kiwi, and they
Yes.
loved each other right away, or they did not?
I don't remember. It was so long ago,
Yeah.
but now they're
like
inseparable.
Okay.
You can't leave the house with one.
Yeah.
They are a unit.
My first dog, Sadie, similarly, I walked by a pet store and I saw her, and she's chaotic and crazy. And then I found my second dog as a rescue, Sausage, and she's the same, like chill and couldn't be nicer.
Yeah.
And there's like a nice balance there.
Yes, right.
But you took it a step further and you have 3 dogs.
Yes.
What?
The third one, I was in the south of France.
Your fault? You did it?
No, a couple
Okay.
of tequilas deep. And my sister called me and said, you need to have this dog. She was in a pet store.
What?
This was like the
No.
last year of pet stores.
What?
And I was like, I'm in France. I do not need a dog.
No, I have 2. We're good.
Like, go home.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't leave without him. He's so cute. I'm like, good, then you get him.
Yeah, you should have a pet.
She has a dog. She's like, Cooper will never be okay with another dog.
No.
I can't do it, but I'm not leaving here without him. I said, go home. I am not getting a dog.
This is too much.
So she went home. She went back before the end of the day.
And bought
she
him.
called me again. She's like, I'm getting the dog. I'll keep him for the first 2 weeks, and then you're going to take him when you get home.
This is wild.
I was bullied into another
Twice.
dog.
Literally 2 of the dogs you had
Yes.
no say.
Yes.
Same breed or different breed?
Same breed.
Oh my gosh, so you have 3 of the same breed.
Yes.
And the name is?
Well, he was Kanye.
Okay.
He's been rebranded.
That's appropriate.
He's Connie.
He's Connie. I'm obsessed. Connie and Kiwi.
And Kobe.
And Kobe.
Yes.
That is adorable. So 3 fur babies.
Yes.
And you have 2 real babies.
Yes.
They're so adorable.
Thank you.
And I know your journey to motherhood was not an easy one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, that's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
My fiance's best friend is in the midst of that. He and I are starting the family conversation. It's layered. It's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you talk about often, or is that something that
When I was going through it, I didn't want to talk about it at all.
you felt shame?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all around you, people are getting pregnant and
Yeah,
having
babies. And it looks so easy.
And we've been trying for 18 months and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
So there was frustration and shame, and people were definitely not as open about it.
Yeah.
And then Brett and I went to Coachella and met this girl who had been really open about it. She was talking
Wow.
about it on her social.
Okay, so not just with you, but on
on
everywhere.
social. And we became friendly at the pool. I mean, we just happened to meet her.
Sure. Well, the
She was a
universe said
blogger.
you need to meet this
Right.
person.
She put her in front of me, and that took some of the shame away. And then I started talking about it after we had Jordan, my son, because it felt like, okay, I'm on the other side.
It's real, and you have a son.
It worked for
Yes.
me. I don't know if there was some shame in it maybe not working that
If
I didn't
you
want to
shared
grapple
publicly
with.
and
Right.
then it didn't happen.
Right.
Of course.
Then what would I do?
Of course.
And, that's the reality for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I applaud anybody who, is willing to take the leap. But I couldn't take that emotional toll
Yeah.
at that time. And so once I had Jordan and he was a healthy, happy baby, that's when I felt more comfortable sharing
Yeah.
it. And I wanted people to know that I had been through it, because
Yeah.
you look at my Instagram and everything is so
Sure.
polished and
It's a
so
picture-perfect
curated.
life. Yeah.
And it wasn't that perfect.
Yeah, that wasn't the
There
reality.
wasn't an easy journey. So I
Yeah.
wanted people to know that.
Yeah.
And I think it did help a lot of people, enough people shared with me that it helped.
Of
That it made,
course.
it
Because you
worked.
don't
and
feel alone or
Yeah.
weird or
it
like
helped
you have
build
a deficit.
community. And that's
Of
really
course.
for me, that's what social media has been about, is building this community of
Yeah.
jewelry lovers, of fashion lovers,
Yep.
of moms, of New York girls.
Yeah.
The aspiring fashionista.
Yeah.
So this was one more level that I could connect with people.
Yeah. And particularly women, I'm sure, because
Yeah.
that's your world and your audience.
By the way, I wanted to give my doctor a shout out. He was so incredible throughout
Yeah.
the whole process. He deserved to have the spotlight
Yeah,
for that.
for
And I
what he
wanted
did.
other people to know,
Yeah.
you should go see him.
Because he helped me.
He did.
And he can help you.
And then Goldie was natural. I didn't even know I was pregnant until I was 10 weeks.
That
so
must have felt like...
it was crazy. I didn't think I could get pregnant
Sure.
on my own.
So
and
you
we
weren't trying for
no,
a second.
and
Oh
we
my
had already
gosh.
scheduled our next IVF treatment.
Yep.
We were ready to
Because
go
you knew you
for
wanted
the
more
summer.
than one
Yeah.
child. Got it.
And then there I was, 10 weeks pregnant. My pants wouldn't button, and I was like, okay, either I've gained weight,
Like, I'm
or,
eating too much, or...
or something's
So
going
you really
on.
had no idea.
Not a clue.
Wow.
And
I mean,
I didn't have symptoms with either of the
Yeah.
kids, so I didn't know.
it wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And then there you are with your 2 beautiful kids.
Yes.
I mean, it's just... fertility is such an interesting conversation because it's so personal, but everyone faces it in some way, shape, or form in their life, you know? And for you to connect with people and be vulnerable, my hat is off to you.
Thank you. I think it's great now that, the dialogue is open. Young people are hearing about it,
Yep.
learning about it, asking more questions, because you don't know when you're young.
You have no idea.
That, we're taught you're going to get pregnant.
Easy. It's going to happen.
And so,
in fact, don't do it too young,
exactly,
but it's going to happen
right.
to you.
And
yeah.
so to then be trying and it's not happening.
For it to not be
There's so much
working.
confusion. You
Yeah.
don't really know where to start.
Yep.
And I think it's great that people are freezing their eggs and being proactive about family planning. I think that's amazing.
The way to go. So on the other side of family planning and marriage, there is the reality, the sad reality, or for some people, the happy reality of divorce.
Oh.
And you started, I don't know if you started a trend, but you're part of the divorce ring trend. So I want to hear, never in my mind would that cross my mind. So I want to hear about divorce rings.
So for a while, we had a 4-carat curse.
Okay, meaning?
several couples who bought 4-carat rings
Was an indicator.
came back like pretty quickly
Okay.
to get rid of the ring.
Oh, interesting.
So we were calling it the 4-carat curse in our office.
Wow.
And that has been discontinued. It doesn't seem to
Is that now
stuck.
5 or 6 carat?
I don't know.
Wow,
Sadly,
okay.
it is a reality. I
course.
think women feel very differently about their ring and they come around at different times,
Yep.
but redesigning jewelry has always been something that I've done. And it's
Yep.
actually one of my most favorite parts of the business is to like look at an old piece of jewelry, speak
That
with
you
a
made, didn't make, doesn't matter.
Sometimes we made it, but most often not.
didn't.
It's
Okay.
usually a family heirloom.
Sure.
And for the client to say, okay, I have this and I like it, but it doesn't suit my style or it doesn't fit me or
it's
I
not
bought it
it's not
10
my
years
reality.
ago and I don't
Sure.
like this anymore. And to come up with something new that suits their lifestyle in this current moment.
With the same materials that you had.
So I think, one of the first projects we did was with a ring that, they were getting divorced. And she said, I can't look at this diamond on my finger anymore, but I love the ring. And she actually put a black diamond in its place.
Oh,
and she was
wow.
like, this is now my ring.
Yeah.
And it represents something totally different. It's the start of a new
A whole new chapter for her. Yeah, for sure.
And so, that's it's a fun way to reinvent and give it new purpose.
Yeah.
And I think if you're stuck with the ring, why not, right?
It makes sense to me. If you have
it
a
on a
beautiful piece of
necklace
jewelry, like why put it in a drawer in a box and
give it
never
new
look
memory.
at it again? Yeah,
it needs a new life.
a new
You don't
life,
want to keep wearing the
a
same
new
ring.
chapter. But that's smart. You could wear it as a necklace, as a ring.
Yeah.
I mean, you could remake it into anything.
Anything.
I love that. This has been so much fun. I have a few questions for
Okay.
you before we wrap up. What is one thing people would never guess about you?
That I'm shy, probably.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't guess that. Meaning in your off time or at events, you're...
Yeah, it's really hard for me to
Okay.
walk into a room of people I don't know and start a conversation.
So do you do that? Is your strategy always someone's always with you at those events, or you just hope people come talk to you first?
I think, I said no to a lot of things for a long time. I've been trying to push myself more.
This is a push yourself moment.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Whenever I can bring someone with me, it helps.
Of course.
But I've also just, I've started to use work or children or whatever it is that I feel will resonate with the other people in the room as a starting
Common
off
denominator.
point. And it's not always easy.
Small talk can be the most work.
It's
actually.
hard.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who has the gift of gab. Like I can't just talk to a wall. So
I might disagree. You've just talked to me for quite a long time.
I've been talking about myself.
Okay. That's true. You're right.
I know my own story. But yeah.
Okay. So we're working on it.
Yeah.
What factor of your childhood impacted you the most as the person you are today?
That's a good question. I think travel has always been a big part of my life. My parents always took us to interesting places.
Okay.
So I would say that's one of them. Travel is probably the number one place that I find inspiration now.
Got it.
And family tradition and expectations.
Okay.
My grandparents were very heavily involved in their Jewish community and always very charitable with their time and money. And so that's something that a legacy I want to carry
That
forward.
you want to carry forward. I
Yeah.
love that. That's beautiful. What's your favorite meal? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, or dessert?
Dessert.
Okay. Are you like a chocolate, a fruit? Like what's your dessert?
Just about anything
Just-
sweet.
Oh, she's got a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
How do you take your coffee?
I don't.
Oh my gosh, I should have known that.
Water, straight
You
water.
don't take coffee.
Water or vodka.
And my last question, what is your love language?
My love language,
Yep.
diamonds.
Yes.
Is that
What
the
else
obvious
could
answer?
It be? I should have gotten hard-hitting journalist questions. Well, this has been so much fun. Where can people find you and follow your beautiful journey, life, family, pets, and jewelry?
You can find us on Instagram at Stephanie Gottlieb, or you can visit our website, www.stephaniegottlieb.com.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now it's time for Ask Jove, where I answer your questions. Really, anything you want to know, go ahead and ask. I couldn't be more excited to be joined in studio with my dear friend Sloan for Ask Jove.
Okay, Jove. Grace from Richmond, Virginia, wants to include her grandparents in her wedding ceremony.
Hi, Grace.
Hers
I
and
love
her partners.
Grandparents.
I know, they're so sweet. They are not able to stand for long periods of time. So she and her partner are wondering what are meaningful ways to involve their grandparents in their wedding.
I mean, to me, like a grandparent involvement in a wedding is like the most emotional, like sweetest. I just love it.
It's a great way to honor them.
It is. But the reality is you have to go with their level of physical, emotional, and mental comfort. Because I think even my own grandmother, she's aging and she's not comfortable with things today that she would have been 2 years ago. And so the last thing you want is for them to feel pressure or sad that they can't do something that's important to you or that's important to the family. So I think letting them know how much you love them and that you want them involved in private in whatever way you want to tell them, like that's step one. And then I think you have to think about logistics. Is there a walker, a cane, a wheelchair, an aid? And if so, what does that look like? And how do we involve them without them feeling awkward or embarrassed about it? If it's a really long aisle outside in the grass,
that's difficult.
It's probably not great for someone in a walker or a wheelchair. So if the grandparents are the number one priority, design the ceremony accordingly. Flat surface, short aisle, or you can potentially have someone walk them all the way down the aisle or halfway down the aisle and pick a song that matches their speed. Like really cater it to them. Like they're our grandparents. Like we love them. We'll do anything for them. But I think you want to just really overthink all of the ways you can make it easy for them. If they're not comfortable with their mobility, they could have a walker or wheelchair bring them up. They could sit in the front row before everyone takes their seats. That way, when everyone walks in, they're already seated. And then potentially they could just get up and do a reading. They could help with the rings. You could also bring a microphone to them.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be maybe what you envisioned or what you thought from movies or TVs. Like that's not it's not always possible for everyone. But I think you meet them where they're at. And they'll be so thrilled to be able to share that with you and to give you their words of wisdom, or maybe they'll sing a song, like I'm sure, everyone's grandma. Did your grandma do anything for your wedding?
No, we did a ring passing ceremony.
Okay. Like a ring warming, which is for those that don't know, tell us.
Your wedding bands, if that's what you have as far as the jewelry that you're wearing for your wedding, are passed amongst all of the guests before they get to you whenever you exchange rings.
So everyone warms it with their love and their wishes before you put it on.
Yes.
I love that.
And we had our grandparents get walked down the aisle by younger family members. So my brother walked my great grandma down the aisle, which was really meaningful.
Intergenerational.
Yes.
I know, I'm going to cry.
It's so sweet. And then we did ring passings. But something else that I've seen at other weddings was having wedding photos from your grandparents' wedding, from your parents' wedding, from other family members.
It's beautiful.
It's a really nice way to get them talking about their own special day and to celebrate, the love that came before you to help you get to where you are. And
such a positive memory that they've had, hopefully. If not, do not put the photo.
Exactly.
Definitely ask.
Maybe that's not your option.
But I think, I love, and those photos, they're beautiful, like black and white. It's a whole other time, a whole other wedding, a whole other time, a whole other wedding. And just the aesthetic, the look, the fashion, like the formality, the seriousness.
So formal.
So serious.
So serious.
But I think it connects your heart to something that, is in your family. And I think a photo is a really great way. I think a reading is a good way. I think they can also lead a toast.
Yeah.
Even if they just are the first to raise a glass. Or in your toast, you can raise a glass to them.
Beautiful.
In your ceremony, you can make mention of them. So if they're not physically able to speak or they're not able to be involved in the way that you would like, involve them yourself. And they can still hear you and feel you. And I think you just have to find the right way. And I think every relationship with family members is so different and there's so many factors. But what is it about your grandparent that's special to you like if my grandma is able to make it to the wedding, she can't really travel, I would want to do like a country song dance with her because she loves country music. And we would just do like a little moment. She'd be embarrassed, but she would love it. She would love it. And then everyone would join in. It would happen very short, but I think like she would really appreciate that, you know? So I think you find the meaningful ways and moments and you incorporate them in ways that they can actually do, but that are still meaningful and magical to you.
Yeah. Share your pics, Grace.
Yeah. Cheers to grandmas and grandpas. We love you.
We love them.
Well, that's it for today. And wasn't that fun? Don't forget to send your questions. Again, any questions, send them our way to hi@jovemeyer.com and maybe I will answer them on air. If you can, send a voice memo. I love to hear your voice. This episode is presented by Friar Tucks. For over 50 years, Friar Tucks has been helping people look their best for life's most important moments. Shop their stylish suits and tuxedos for rent or purchase, and explore their new women's suit line. Visit friartux.com to learn more. Weddings-ish is presented by Lovebird, a better way for engaged couples to communicate with their wedding guests. Make an exquisite first impression and manage every touch point in one place. Share your proposal story on Lovebird for a chance to win a free honeymoon. Learn more at lovebird.com/weddingsish.
Weddings-ish.
Thank you again for listening or watching Weddings-ish with Jove. If you liked today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. We're also super grateful to Mel Flannery for the music on the podcast. She created, produced, and designed all of the music. And don't forget, you can watch Weddings-ish with Jove on Love Stories TV, YouTube, or streaming TV channel. Visit lovestoriestv.com/live for the list of streaming apps.
Weddings-ish. Weddings-ish.